Isaiah 65, verse 24. It will also come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are still speaking, I will hear. Isaiah 65 is a chapter filled with contrasts. God speaks of judgment upon those who reject him, but he also promises incredible blessings for his faithful servants. Beginning in verse 17, the chapter looks ahead to a future time of peace, joy, and restoration. In the middle of these promises, Isaiah 65-24 gives us a wonderful glimpse into the relationship God desires with his people. The verse says, "Before they call, I will answer, and while they are still speaking, I will hear." This reveals a God who is not distant, uninvolved, or unaware of what is happening in our lives. Instead, he is intimately acquainted with our circumstances and attentive to our prayers. The first phrase, "Before they call, I will answer," teaches us that God already knows our needs before we bring them to him. Nothing catches him by surprise. He knows our struggles, fears, disappointments, and hopes long before we express them in prayer. Sometimes we act as though prayer is informing God about our situation, but God already knows everything about us. He sees the burden we carry and understands the questions we have even before we speak them. The second phrase, "While they are still speaking, I will hear," emphasizes God's attentiveness. Human beings often fail to listen. We become distracted, impatient, or preoccupied. God never does. Every sincere prayer reaches his ears. He listens because he cares about his people. This does not mean he always answers exactly as we expect, but it does mean that he never ignores those who come to him in faith. This verse also highlights the closeness of God's relationship with him. In the future kingdom Isaiah describes, there will be such harmony between God and his people that he is already responding before they finish asking. It paints a picture of perfect fellowship and trust. For believers today, this truth is incredibly comforting. We live in a world filled with uncertainty. People worry about their health, finances, families, relationships, and the future. Many feel alone, believing that no one truly understands what they are going through. Isaiah 65-24 reminds us that God understands completely. Have you ever struggled to find the right words to pray? Perhaps you are overwhelmed by grief, fear, or disappointment. This verse assures us that God knows our hearts even when we cannot clearly express ourselves. Before the prayer is spoken, he already knows the need. While the prayer is still being spoken, he is listening. At times, God's answers may seem delayed. We may pray for weeks, months, or even years without seeing immediate results. Yet this verse reminds us that God is already at work. Often he begins arranging circumstances long before we recognize his hand. Looking back, many believers can see how God was preparing an answer before they even thought to ask. Isaiah 65-24 should encourage us to approach God with confidence. We do not need perfect words or eloquent prayers. We come to a loving Father who knows us completely and listens attentively. He is aware of every concern, every tear, and every burden. The message of this verse is simple yet profound. God is near. He knows what you need before you ask. He hears you when you pray, and even when you cannot see it. He is already working according to his perfect wisdom and love. That truth can give believers peace, confidence, and hope in every season of life.